A reading from the 22nd chapter of Matthew, the 1st through the 14th verses. Jesus spoke to the chief priests and elders of the people in parables, saying, "The kingdom of heaven may be likened to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son. He dispatched his servants to summon the invited guests to the feast, but they refused to come. A second time he sent other servants, saying, 'Tell those invited, behold, I have prepared my banquet, my calves and fattened cattle are killed, and everything is ready. Come to the feast.' Some ignored the invitation and went away, one to his farm, another to his business. The rest laid hold of his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged and sent his troops, destroyed those murderers, and burned their city. Then he said to his servants, 'The feast is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy to come. Go out, therefore, into the main roads and invite to the feast whomever you find.' The servants went out into the streets and gathered all they found, bad and good alike, and the hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to meet the guests, he saw a man there not dressed in a wedding garment. The king said to him, 'My friend, how is it that you came in here without a wedding garment?' But he was reduced to silence. Then the king said to his attendants, 'Bind his hands and feet and cast him into the darkness outside, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. Many are invited, but few are chosen.'"
At Holy Mass on Sunday, we will hear that parable from the Gospel about the king giving a wedding feast for his son. The marriage in question involves the Lord Jesus Christ and our souls, each individual soul. God made me. He exercises ultimate control over the entire course of my life. Every day, every moment involves an invitation. The loving almighty hand of God lavishly arrays everything that I experience, all for one reason: to communicate love, to give life, to open up the infinite horizon of friendship with him. When did Jesus weep? He wept at the tomb of his friend Lazarus, but that wasn't the only time. Once, as he approached Jerusalem as a pilgrim, he paused on the hill overlooking the Kidron Valley and the Temple Mount beyond, and he wept. "Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you kill the prophets and stone those whom the Lord sends to you. How many times have I longed to gather your children together like a mother hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you were not willing." God demands my attention more urgently than anything else. Who has more of a claim on me than he does? My Creator has a right to expect my devoted love. But he's invisible and so confoundedly silent. He seems aloof, intentionally mysterious. Is he really, there? Let's not forget about the banquet in the parable, the calves and fattened cattle that the king prepared for his guests. We do not seek friendship with God in an arid wasteland. We don't have to invent our own religion based on our own clever insights. We seek friendship with God at the fully stocked banquet table that he has prepared. He became man. He gave himself for us on the cross and then rose again to minister in heaven as our high priest. He founded his church and endowed her with holy writings and sacraments. He has given us a religion which allows our friendship with him to grow through the whole course of our humble pilgrim lives here on earth. God prepared this banquet of grace, this great undefinable thing that is Christianity, Catholicism. He made it. I didn't. It's not for me to understand it all, just like it's not for wedding guests to know all the recipes for every item on the banquet table at the feast. That my job, our job, the guests, is to partake. If I make my own understanding of God the measure of my friendship with him, forget it. After all, the closer we get to God, the more we realize how little we understand. What I do or don't do, what I understand or don't understand, none of that makes or breaks my religion, my relationship with my Creator. Most of us hardly know what we're doing most of the time anyway. What really matters is that God has intervened in history and has given us his church. Now, to be sure, our church clearly has some serious problems. Also, no one has an obligation to go to Mass right now because of the virus. But my point is this: the Catholic Church's fundamental institutions deserve my trust and devotion because they are the means by which I receive God's grace. When I trust in the mystery of divine love revealed by Jesus Christ, I can partake of the banquet of heaven at the holy altar. I just need to take my place there among all the other sinners who need the grace. The king of the parable really just wants everyone to be happy, but he's utterly demanding in one way. He invites us to the wedding banquet of his only son, and we must accept. If we fail to accept the invitation, we lose the one chance of finding meaning in this life. We accept the invitation by believing in Jesus Christ and in the sacraments that he instituted, and frequenting those sacraments at the right time, under the right circumstances, considering the public health situation that we face. No matter what our particular individual circumstances are right now, having to do with the virus, or having to do with being suspended from the priestly ministry, or whatever might get in the way, the main thing is faith and hope, looking forward to better days when we can live the life of the church together in peace. Those days will come. In the meantime, we share in the banquet by believing, hoping, praying, and receiving the sacraments when we can.